without further ado, let's bring down the house right now for Mr. Sylvester McCoy. Come on out.
It's very nice. I'm so happy. Nice. Bye. Hello, come in. Hello, hello, hello. Hello. Are you having a good time? Why? What are you doing? Possibly. Yes. Right. It's over to you.
I think you're the star of this show, but thank you very much. Should I perhaps have introduced you as Sylvester? Will you tell me that story? Because...
Oh, Sylvester. Well, no, it's now Sylvester.
Right.
The reason for that is I once played Stan Laurel in a play, and Stan Laurel used to be called Stanley Jackson, and he was touring and his career was not taking off. And he had worked with Charlie Chaplin. Charlie Chaplin had gone, wow, like that, but nothing happened to Stan until he was in Laurel Canyon with his girlfriend, and she was into numerology. And so she worked out that his name had 13 letters in it. So they decided to change it. So they changed it from Stan Laurel to Stan Jackson to whatever his first name was, to Stan Laurel. Anyway, so it was, that was, and then overnight, he became famous, really. Well, I was called Sylvester McCoy, and I counted up, and I had 13 letters. So I put an R on it. It's because I could say that. I put this R on it, and then that became 14, and then I got Doctor Who. So who knows? Numerology might not or might not work.
Do come up to the microphone if you want to ask your questions. I have plenty of Doctor Who questions, but I want to make sure that you get your questions asked. We'll go ahead and start over here with you right there. Hi.
Hi, my name is Katie. I'm from DC. So,
sorry,
around the corner.
I can't quite hear you because of your mask.
Oh, sorry about that. My name's Katie. I'm from here in DC.
Oh, wow, good. Hello, Katie.
Hi.
Katie.
So I recently rewatched Happiness Patrol.
Oh, I'm glad. Did that make you happy?
Well, I love the message about how it's important to feel sad and happy. It struck me as a really modern message, especially with people talking about toxic positivity nowadays. So I just was wondering if, looking back on any of your stories, if any of the messages especially apply to today, or you think that maybe they were a little bit ahead of their time.
Well, yes, I mean, the thing was that we did do messages. The BBC didn't notice. We kind of did it in a way that they didn't really notice. And the reason for that was when I first watched Doctor Who way back in the 60s, the swinging 60s, when it was all coming to life, and when you listened to the Beatles records backwards and there were messages you could hear. Of course, you had a couple of those things when you were listening. I never inhaled like one of your presidents. Anyway, so when I used to watch Doctor Who in those days, in the 60s, it was written by young liberal people, and they wanted to put a message out. There was things in those. And so when I got Doctor Who all those years later, I wanted to bring that back. And we had one. I mean, the one of the Daleks was about race. And, it was all about that, because we were having race riots in Britain at the time, and the black community were getting a really bad time and all that kind of stuff. So that was, and the various other ones. The one, Happiness Patrol, was in a sense a satire attack on Thatcher and Thatcherism. Mrs. Thatcher, you might have heard of her. She was a girlfriend to Ronald Reagan, I believe, or something like that. Anyway, so we were putting in lots of things like that. We were being and it wasn't until years later that the BBC discovered we'd done them. So there we go. Yes.
It was Katie, right?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Katie, thank you for your question. Hi, how are you?
Who's this guy?
Hi, I'm Ryan from Westminster, Maryland. My question to you is, of all the episodes and stories that you have done both for the main show and Big Finish, what is your favorite? Oh,
that's a difficult one, really. The television ones, I suppose. I enjoyed making The Greatest Show in the Galaxy. It was great fun. So I enjoyed that. That was kind of favorite for that. I don't view it the same way you view it. I view it from inside looking out, as it were. Do you know what I mean? And the Big Finish ones, they're very difficult to remember because we get the script and 2 days before, we mark it up, we come in, and over 2 days we make it, and then we throw the script away and go away. Whereas on the television ones, we filmed it over a period of time, we had rehearsals, so it's stuck in the brain. So the ones would be, there'd definitely be, that one, The Greatest Show in the Galaxy. I liked it. I mean, the last season, the Dalek one was good. The Survival was great, Only it was the last one that went out, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you for your question.
Thank you. It was Ryan, right?
Ryan.
Thank you, Ryan. Very nice.
Keep talking. Talk amongst yourselves.
Okay, yes, discuss amongst yourselves. I know what he's up to. Do me a favor, when you do talk in the mic, especially when we come to you, not yet, talk loudly, because it is a little hard for us to hear up here for some reason. We're working on that, but especially if you're wearing and more comfortable wearing a mask, you'll have to speak up for us so we can make sure we can hear you clearly. Hello, Mr. Sylvester McCoy, now down on the floor where you are. Oh.
Now. So, you are my enemy. So, do you have a question?
I do.
You do?
So, clearly we think Doctor Who enemies are an important part of the show. Besides the Cybermen, who is the most memorable enemy that you fought against?
I suppose it was... sorry, I'm shouting because I've got a mask. It's called acting. Yes, the Master. The Master was the one I didn't, I thought he was the Doctor's worst enemy because he was one of us. And turncoats like that, are the worst, really. So anyway, you don't have to come up to the microphone. If you want, you can put your hands up and I'll come over to you. But as you're here...
Big round of applause for this.
Thank you, Cyberman. No, be off, Cyberman, be off.
Hi, my name is Geraldine. My question to you is, how was it regenerating after Colin Baker, especially wearing that wig?
Well, it was a wee bit difficult, really, because he didn't turn up. And so what happened was, they put me in the costume. And as you know, Colin Baker's a bigger fellow than I. Everyone's bigger than me. But anyway, they put me in the costume, and they lost me for 3 days. And then they gave me this the wig, the curly wig. I look like Harpo Marx. So, yes, indeed. That's a great laugh you've got there. Anyway, it was rather interesting. So our quiz question is, which actor played two doctors? Me! Yes, of course, yes. Of course. Hello. Thank you for your question. And you?
Hello, my name is Manu Chopra, and my question is, on the last episode of Doctor Who, how did you create inventions?
The last episode where that was survival, was it? Not the one.
On the survival episode?
How did I create inventions?
How you made inventions, like different types of inventions to help people motivate?
Well, I suppose what motivated us was the enemy. And the inventions part of it, well, I mean, the Doctor used to have, bits and bobs. I insisted my costume had big pockets so that I would take out little bits and bobs and then I could join them up together and make some inventions that could then be used to defeat the enemy.
That was a nice episode.
Thank you very much.
That's a good question.
Yeah. Bye-bye. See, good.
Hello, sir. Hello, Josh from Charlottesville.
Gosh, Josh.
I just was curious, what is your favorite kind of music?
I like classical music. I like jazz. I like, heavy metal. Actually, I'm working with Rob Zombie. You've heard of him?
Oh, yes, I've heard of Rob. Yeah, I'm a big fan.
All right, yeah. Well, I must tell you, because I'm in the Munster film that hasn't come out yet.
Oh.
I play Igor. Now, those of you old enough, you saw it, didn't you, when you were watching it? Those of you who are old enough will remember there was a bat in it called Igor. Well, I play that bat, only I'm not a bat, I'm a butler, I'm a batty butler. I mean, a completely batty butler. And so when Rob Zombie phoned up and asked me if I'd be in his film, I didn't know who he was. And so I phoned my son and I said, Sam, do you know this guy, Rob Zombie? And he went, oh my God, you've got to do it, Dad. Rob Zombie, he's amazing. He does these shock horror films. Oh, it's wonderful. Blood, guts, brains blowing up. Oh, you'll love it. And so I thought, oh, well, I better do it then. So off I went to do it. I looked at him on video and discovered that, he was a big rock, heavy metal man. He was #1 in the Billboard just as I flew out to Hungary to start filming. And I thought, wow, I'm going to meet this wild rocker. It'd be great. It'd be cocaine, women, drugs, dry. When I got there, I discovered he was a vegan. I was so disappointed. I wanted this kind of, mad kind of thing, Do you know what I mean? Anyway, put your hands up now.
Sylvester, didn't you also sing opera? Did I read that?
Opera?
Yeah.
Yes, I was in an opera. I played Puck in Benjamin Britten's Midsummer Night's Dream.
I love it.
I know, yeah.
There's a woman over here with a question off to your right.
Right.
Raise your hand.
Oh, yes, you're standing there. All right, yeah.
This is the easiest moderating gig I have ever had, so.
But, I mean, the thing is about the opera, in it I'll see you in a minute. In the opera, the Bottom, the Midsummer Night's Dream, there's a character called Bottom, and he was played by a great Welsh bass, Sir Garand Evans. Now, Sir Garand Evans is a great bass, a big man, amazing head with great hair like a lion. But he hadn't a sense of humor. But opera singers necessarily have to specialize in certain roles. And so, he spent many years playing King Lear, singing King Lear. And he once said to me one day, he said, oh, do you know, boy? He said, I've done very well out of my Lear. And I started to smile and laugh, thinking, it was like that kind of Lear. But, and then he said, I've made a fortune out of my bottom. And now I started to laugh and realized he was serious. He didn't see the joke. So that was him in the opera. That's when I said, I'm coming. Sorry to keep you waiting, madam.
Hi, my name's Barbara. I'm from...
Hello, Barbara.
Germantown.
Germantown.
Suburb.
Oh, is that good?
I am a Hobbit fan.
Oh, I was in The Hobbit,
No, I love you. I love your Radagast Brown. I was hoping you would share a funny story that happened to you while filming.
Well, yes, I could do. Yes, if you want, you can go and sit down because it's a long story. When I did that, I flew out to New Zealand, and I was the first month or so. I was just filming the episode inside the house, the Hobbit's house, and also they built a forest in this huge airplane hangar. They built this forest for me to run around in, trying to save the creatures of the forest. And of course, those that have seen it saw that I was working with a hedgehog, and they gave me this stuffed hedgehog to work with, in rehearsals, in filming. And I was thinking, oh my goodness, I'm going to be on the biggest screens in the world, and no other actors in this, just me. No one else. I don't have to share it with you. Just me and a stuffed hedgehog. Oh, gosh. I thought, wait till I show my family. Wait till they come and see me. How wonderful. I'll be sitting there and just me and a stuffed hedgehog. So then we cut to the world premiere. My sons are sitting next to me. We're watching it, and the scene's coming up. Oh, this is exciting. It's just got to be me, no other actors. And then suddenly, the wizards of Weta got a hold of the hedgehog and turned it into this poor little creature. I mean, it was all, everyone was going, oh, the wee hedgehog, oh, the poor wee hedgehog. I was upstaged by a bloody hedgehog. I mean, I was furious. I should have killed the thing. I mean, I would have kind of... Hello.
Good afternoon. Hi, my name is Evan. I'm originally from New Jersey, but I live in D.C. So I'm wondering, I know there were a lot of plans that the writers had for Doctor Who for the subsequent seasons that never ended up happening, some of which have been sort of cannibalized for some of the more recent episodes. So I'm wondering, were there any stories that you were aware of that you were really looking forward to, or any directions that you really would have liked to go as Doctor, as the Doctor had it continued?
Yes, well, I mean, when I first did Doctor Who, Patrick Troughton had told Peter Davidson, who told me, only do 3 years. And so I agreed to do 3 years. In the second year, they realized it was starting to work. And so they said to me, we want you to do a 4th year. And I said, well, I'm not sure really. And they said, if you don't do a 4th year, then we won't do a 3rd year. So I thought, well, I better do it, because that would be terrible. So I got my head around the fact that we were going to do a 4th year. And then they kind of put it into hiatus for some reason that I've never quite discovered. But I was really annoyed because they twisted my arm to do, a 4th year. So what we were going to do in it was to progress the dark side of the Doctor. It was... When I got the role in the first place, I arrived with my comedy bag of tricks, and also Patrick Troughton, a distant memory of him being light and funny. And so I was thrown in to an episode that was written for Colin Baker, and therefore it didn't quite fit. But then I realized I'd been handed one of the great TV roles. You can do anything with this character. I mean, anything. You can go. And also at that time, my grandmother, who was 100, she lived to be 100, and this was a way back when it wasn't so common for people to live that long. And I went to see her, and she's still completely sharp, but she was sad, and she'd lost people in her life, and she'd seen things that were, and I thought, the Doctor's 800 odd years, I want to bring that to it. I want to bring his age. I also wanted to bring the solitariness of the Doctor traveling, and losing. He'd seen so many terrible things as well as created and helped in many great ways. So I wanted more of that in the 4th season. The idea that was discussed was that perhaps it was only a hinting, it wouldn't be in your face that he was part of a triumvirate that had created the Gallifreyan Society. But that would not have been big. It would have just been hinted at and never explored. Anyway, I hope that answers your question.
Thank you very much.
Okay, you can sit down. Hello. Oh, I like your T-shirt.
Yes, I do.
All right. Hello. Have you got a question for me?
What your favorite audio will be you in?
All right. Do you listen to my audio? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, great. What's your name?
Elvis from here.
Elvis. I want the world for the money. Yeah. Elvis is in the house. Hey! Wow. Well, you ask a difficult question, Elvis. I'll tell you why. Because, as I said earlier to someone, that we only got the scripts, a couple of days before we do them. You mark them up. You don't have to learn them, because you just read them while you're, actually acting them to the microphone. And then they go. So it's very difficult to remember. I'll tell you what kind of ones I like. I like the ones where the Doctor is solitary. Because one of the good things about doing audio is that you can get inside the Doctor's head. You not actually literally open his head up and climb in, but you can get into his deep thoughts and listen to them, because he can muse. Whereas on television, you need the companion to ask the Doctor the questions that you want the answers for the audience. Do you know what I mean? So that's anyway, Elvis, it's such a pleasure to meet you. Yeah, cheers. Thank you very much. See, bye-bye. Have a nice... Is that your seat over there, Jaunty? Someone's going to... Oh, yeah. Hello, Mum. Anyway, I'll go and see what this person wants to ask. Or do you want to hold the microphone? No? Okay. All right.
Actually, I didn't want to ask. I was going to sit here and listen to you, but I met you in San Jose, California.
Oh my God, yes, I remember. How much do I owe you?
Well, remember.
I paid you.
No. I was the one that had a miniature Doctor Who TARDIS that I built, and you liked it, and you signed the bottom of it.
All right, yes. And when was this? How many years ago?
1988.
Oh, right, yeah. 1988, yes. Oh, right, oh, yes, I was doing. I'll go back in time and remember it.
Well, you did misbehave yourself, and I stuck you inside of it for a while.
Oh, really?
And I wouldn't let it get big to let you out, but I did let you out. But what happened was you were taller, and now look at you're smaller.
I know, I'm shrinking. 4 inches! I've lost 4 inches. I used to be 5'6" in a dog end. A dog end is a little leftover from a cigarette, you know. But I used to be that height. Now I'm 5'2". They gave me new hips. I think I got new metal hips. I didn't realize they could change your height by giving you hips. I mean, if I did, I would ask them to make me taller rather than smaller. But thank you.
Tom Baker.
Yes. Oh, no, thanks. No, I love him, but, you know, I'd rather he was he and not me, him.
Hi. I'm asking for my dad who's over there.
Dad, where are you? Come, there he is. Come on. Right, okay. You
Dad
lazy,
cannot escape.
You lazy bugger. Come here. Coming through.
Hi. When I was a kid in the 70s, I used to watch something called Vision On.
Oh, yeah, I was in that.
Yeah, I remembered you, and it's like, when I first saw you, it's like, why do I know this face? And I didn't have IMDb, and it's like, 30 years later, I finally figured it out.
Yes, it was a program that was mainly for the deaf, hard of hearing. It was a very visual program. I'm leaving here because I can hear myself talking. And I feel sorry for you guys because you have to listen to me. But I mean, the thing is, if I get nearer here, I don't have to listen to me. So that's why I'm coming back. Anyway, that was a technical problem. So yes, Vision On was meant, you know, as visual, completely visual, and I managed to do visual comedy routines in it, and it was a great privilege to do a wonderful, wonderful children's program. But put your hands up. I was going to. You don't have to walk down if you don't want to, because I'll come to you.
I'd rather come to you.
All right. Well, thank you.
When your seasons aired, did you ever watch your own episodes? And did you keep up with Doctor Who after yours?
Yes, well, when my seasons were aired, I did watch them. I mean, I used to hide behind the couch when I came on. Because it's, you know, watching yourself is sometimes not the nicest thing. I did watch some of the episodes, but I did a lot of theatre work. And in those days, videos were just coming in when I was doing Doctor Who. But you could never, they still didn't repeat it. So on a Saturday it was on, if it was those days. I was in the theatre working, so I tended to lose touch with it over those years, yeah.
Sylvester, we have a question in the back since you wanted a woman there raising...
I wanted a woman in the back.
Raising her hand.
Where is it? Where are you? Where's this woman in the back?
Keep going, there you go, keep going. Keep
Where
going.
are you?
There we
Put
go.
your hand up. Oh, they're over there. And you say, is this the woman you're talking about?
Yes.
Hello. Oh, it's not a woman, it's a pixie.
Actually, a trans man, but yes. So I have a question for my father who is not able to.
He's not lazy like that one up there.
No, he had to work this weekend. But he wants to know, do you know of any plans for you to return for the 60th anniversary of Doctor Who? What might you know about the story? And because following the Day of the Doctor episode, what was the plan for the curator and lines regarding new faces visiting the old, knowing it was like 2 showrunners ago? I don't know if that plan might have changed.
I have no idea what you're talking about. No, I mean, the 60th, haven't heard anything. You know, who knows? Well, I mean, we were very sad not to do the 50th, but we ended up doing the 5-ish Doctors reboot, which I think was better than the 50th. That was Peter Davidson and his daughter, Georgia, who years ago I taught to juggle. Anyway, they made the 5-ish Doctors. So maybe, who knows, fingers crossed, you never can tell, there might be another. And then I'll be able to say to Colin, not, I'm in the Hobbit, you know. I'll say to him, I'm in the Munsters, you know. And that'll really annoy him. Anyone up there? Hands. Hans, you're pointing here, over there. You pointed there, not up here. Hello.
Hello. I had a Hobbit question as well. I know in The Lord of the Rings and the Hobbits, they utilize a lot of CGI. I was wondering if that posed any difficulty or anything when it came to your acting on screen.
Yes. I mean, a couple of things, really. When I did Vision On, the program, many, many, many years ago, they just brought in CS blue. It was blue then in those days, and we played with it on Vision On and had great fun. So I rather enjoyed working with it. But they changed it to green because they realized that the majority of people had blue eyes and wore jeans. People wore a lot of blue, so that's why it went to green. So that's why it's now green screen rather than blue screen. Anyway, I worked with Ian McKellen for 1.5 years touring the world in King Lear. He was King Lear and I played the fool. It's kind of a double act. And so I knew Ian. And so when I eventually went out to start filming The Hobbit, I arrived and Ian McKellen was so pleased to see me. Yes, he was very pleased. And then because for 3 months he was, if you imagine, it was a huge place like this. The hobbits and were in Bilbo Baggins' house, which was over there. The real set was all there, and Ian was in a corner way over there with photographs with light bulbs on them, and the eye line was to fit where the dwarfs were over there. And so when the light bulb went on, he looked at that, and he had a speaker in his ear, and the first time he did it, he cried and said, "Oh, this is not acting." So he hated it. He was, he couldn't make eye contact. It was horrible for him, really. So when I arrived, I was in his world, so we were in the same scenes together. We were physically, I could look at him and all that, so he was really happy I had arrived. And so, actually, I've forgotten the question. I just rabbited on. But you're working, yes. And so green screen, that's where we are. Well, what happened then? You can sit down if you want, I'll come to you. Oh, she can sit down, you can stay sat. I'll be there. So yes, I mean, they put me on I've been pulled along, with the rabbits in the sledge. And we're in this room filming, and it's all green. And they had even a green man. He was a man all in green. And they put the sledge way up quite high on a big rubber ring covered in green. Everything was covered in green. And then they were having me on it, jumping up and down and reacting and, filming me. And the cameraman wanted to get down and low and look at it, but he couldn't get down low enough. And so they took off the green cover on the floor, and underneath it was padding, in case I'd fallen off, So then they managed to get the shot, and then they put everything back. And I was doing a double take, and Andy Serkis was filming this at the time. He was directing, and he said, "Please do a big, really big double take," which was like that. When I did that, and then flew off backwards off the sledge and came down, and my bum hit the ground, and I could feel it, and then my head hit the concrete. They forgot to put the padding back, so there's no padding, and so I remember it all happened in slow motion. My head, I could feel my head touch it. I could feel my brain starting to move inside my skull. But just at that time, luckily, we were filming in New Zealand, and I don't know if you know this, but New Zealanders are great rugby players. So there was actually a famous rugby player in the room, and he dived and caught my head as if it was a rugby ball and stopped me from getting knocked out. I'm quite glad he didn't get carried away and then pick it up and kick it, it was going to be... But so that, yes, there are always sometimes dangers, yes. Now, that's a lady up here. This is such good exercise for me, I don't know about you lot, but it's such a good exercise. There we are. Hello.
Sorry, I was in line, but then you were directed over to our friend over there, and then they asked my question, so...
So sorry. Are you upset? Are you sure? Because I'll go and hit that lady over there for having a good... All right, okay.
I'm just happy to meet you.
Oh, good.
So I had to come up with a new question. You were in a production of Zoro, right?
Yes, I was. State.
And you played a mute character?
Yes.
Did the gun actually not go off? prompting you to say bang? Or did it?
Oh, yes, yeah.
Okay.
Yes, it was something, they were supposed to, I don't know if I can't remember now. I improvised that, suddenly. And then it didn't go off and I went bang and then fell down. But it was a miracle. Because my character couldn't speak. But it wasn't a bang. Yes, that was kind of... That reminds me of another time when something like that happened. I told you I did a year and a half touring the world with the Royal Shakespeare Company with Ian McKellen. He was King Lear and I was the fool. Now, in the play, Shakespeare writes this piece about the fool taking an egg, breaking it in half, and telling the king indirectly that he'd broken his kingdom in half because he gave it to one sister and the other sister and banished the third sister. So that was the idea. Now, as luck would have it, in the direction of it, Ian sat down just before that bit. And so I said, what I should do is get an egg and stick it under his bum as he's sitting down. And so therefore, when it comes to it, I can go, boop, 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 and pick him up, and he's laid an egg. So, I mean, it was another layer of humour on Shakespeare's thing. He's actually laid an egg. Nobody else could see the egg, but there it was. Well, Ian didn't kind of like that, but the director did, so we kept it in. But then after a while, Ian got a bit up, so he got the egg. One day I did it. I went, buck, 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 and got him up, and there was no egg, and so I was looking for the egg, and then he suddenly went, oh, are you looking for this? And then he threw it, and of course I was a bit discombobulated, and I didn't catch it, and it being a rubber egg, it bounced. Then I caught it, and I said, look, Nuncle, the floor, 'tis made of rubber. And then when we got off the stage, he said to me, I'll not do that again. I said, no, you won't.
Sylvester?
Yeah?
There was someone standing for a while.
Oh, my goodness. We can't have people standing. Oh, she's quite tall standing. Hello.
Of all the regenerations of the Doctor, except your own, which one's your favorite?
I suppose the one that regenerated into the Lady Doctor. I mean, I never thought in my life I'd fancy a doctor. She's lovely. I met her. She's absolutely delightful. I hope she'll now, once she's finished her term, as it were, she'll be able to come to conventions, and then you must go and see her because she is so absolutely lovely and cuddly and funny and full of energy. And you thought you were going to be comfortable here, but I got words for you.
My question is, out of all of your roles, do you have a favorite line that you've ever delivered?
Ace! Quite easy to learn, you see. Just kind of... oh dear, lines. I mean, years ago I did this. I suppose I quite like the one, for the end of, when you go off somewhere, the tea's getting cold, that speech at the end of Survival. Quite like that. At the moment, I can't think of anything, because I'm a bit jet-lagged. I mean, that's kind of... And so when it comes to lines, it was hard enough trying to remember them when I was doing them, but not 35 years later. Sorry, I can't answer. Have you got a favourite one? Sorry, definitely.
From Staten Island.
Great.
Question is...
Been there.
Oh, yeah. I'm very sorry.
We all are.
Yeah, yes, we are.
No, I'm joking.
Whose, and I say this sincerely, brilliant idea was it to reunite you with Ace for the DVD collection?
Which one?
The most recent one, a couple of years ago, that came out on
Blu-ray. Was it the last season, or because there's another one? There's the first season. All right, yeah. Well, it was their idea, really. Yeah, I thought the advert they did for it was beautiful with Sophie, by herself, and all you see is my shadow go by and the umbrella and the hint of what was going to come. Yeah, but we've also done another one which has come out, which is my first season, the 24th. But it's interesting because I and Wendy Padbury, who was one of the companions, she and I watched Colin Baker's season, for one of his seasons. And that's what happens. The doctors watch the other doctor and comment on it. And of course, I've been teasing Colin like mad because he said, it's out now and he must have seen it. I hope he has. But I kept getting dropped as if he would say, well, what did you think of it? And I go, oh dear, I can't tell you really. You're going to have to watch the video. I mean, because things come out, you don't mean to say them, but my God, they recorded them. Sorry about that, Colin. Anyway, the opposite was the fact. Because Colin got a bum deal, really, and I hadn't seen him because I was working in the theatre when it always happened. Didn't see Doctor, and so I remember being immensely impressed by his doctor. I thought it was really great doctor. So I hope he watched it. I'll tell him afterwards that I was lying, but at the time I wasn't. I will. Someone over here put the hand up. All right.
I'm Damon from Charlottesville.
Right.
Just a question for you. Who was a good mentor for you, and who have you been a good mentor for?
Oh, right. Well, I suppose there was a guy called Ken Campbell. Oh, Ken Campbell. He was a comic. He was a writer, director. I was working in the Roundhouse Theatre in London, which at the time in the 60s was a kind of the centre of the swinging 60s theatre, and the rock bands played there. In fact, for one night, I was a bouncer for the Rolling Stones. I stood on the stage just there, and there was another little Canadian, and he stood on the stage over there, and we kept the people off. But they couldn't get up there. They were so packed in, they were like sardines. They were like sardines going... That's my view of them. Anyway, so I was a bouncer for the Rolling Stones. And so I didn't realize, though, because that was the last concert they did in England before they came to America for their very first concert at Altamar. Is that right? Altamar, those who remember? Yeah, there was a big concert there, and the bouncers there, they killed people. And I thought, I didn't know that was my job. So anyway, I was the I was the last of the peaceful bouncers. I was going to write in my autobiography. So that was Anyway, I was at the Roundhouse. I worked there. There was another actor whose wife was assistant administrator, and this actor, Brian Murphy, when he wasn't working, he would come in and hang out till she stopped work and just collect the tickets that I was selling, and we used to just loon around together, have fun. And then one day, this amazing young director came in, Ken Campbell, said, "Hey, Brian, I've got this mad show, and some bleeping person has let me bleeping down." And he said, "Do you know any mad young actors?" And Brian said, "That's the guy in the box office. He's out of his head." And so Ken came up to me and said, "Here, do you want to join my show?" And I said yes, because I always found it very difficult to say no. And thank God I wasn't a girl. Anyway, so I joined the Ken Campbell Roadshow. I had no training. I've never had any training. Since then, I've been in opera. I've been in musicals. I've done Shakespeare. I've done comedy. I've done Beckett, avant-garde, street theatre. The producer of Doctor Who looked at my CV once and said, "You know, Sylvester, you've done everything in this business except ballet." And the problem is that I'm now, my ankles are fused. They're like an L. They don't go, I can't point. So I can't do ballet, which just makes me very sad. Because, I'd like to wear a tutu. I know, anyway, that's another story. We have time for one more question. All right. One more. There's a hand up there. Oh, he stood up in the back. Oh, I can see. This way, am I going the right way? I can see a hand. Eventually. There was a thin hand. Now it's a thick hand. Someone hand it to me. I'm coming. It's a lady. Hello. Hello.
What do you think about the direction of the new Who?
New Who. Well, I think it's all very exciting. What's great is the director, what do you call him? They always call him the showrunner. When I started, we never had showrunners. We had directors. And then I always think it's like, some other kind of runner. Anyway, the showrunner is a brilliant, brilliant writer. I think the thing that makes Doctor Who great is the writing. That's the really principal thing. and then you bring in the character of the Doctor and join them together. I think Jodie maybe didn't have the best writing, some people believe, but that's sad. But so I'm very excited that he's going to be in it. I mean, so yeah, it'd be great. I don't know if you saw, I kind of welcomed the new Doctor. I did a little video. Yeah.
It was great. It was on Twitter. Sylvester, this person right here who has their phone up, raise your hand high. There you go. Good. Let's make that the last one.
Okay. Coming.
Hello, sir. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Are you sure?
I mean, I hope so. We'll see. I was just wondering, I mean, I know we'd all really love to see you, like, come in the 60th anniversary, hopefully, you never know. I was just wondering, do you think that maybe because you were the 7th Doctor that you might have enjoyed being there for the 30th anniversary, maybe with Paul McGann, like to just regenerate into to pass the torch?
Yes, I think I was there for the 25th anniversary. I remember doing that with Silver Nemesis, because Silver is the 25th anniversary of weddings and divorces and Cybermen. Anyway, so that was there. So it would have been nice to have done the 30th. Oh, hello.
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 Hey, should we take a photo together with everyone in the background? Because
Yes.
I really did love how we did that. So here, walk up here with me.
Yes, walk this way.
Walk this way.
I'm following you anywhere.
Yes, here we go.
All right.
Okay, are you ready? Give it up, everyone, for Mr. Sylvester McCoy!
Thank you.
Hi, this is Michael Shanks, and you're watching Fandom Spotlight. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. The fate of the universe may depend on it. And have fun and follow your fandom.